a scientist.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black.
Please. You'll wake the dead. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no tears. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Ethan, you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. Bring me in. What's up?
Hey, Ethan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I'm a little f***ing hungover. But all right,
well.
I'm with it.
All right. Cool.
Well, we are all at
that
some
happens,
point.
you know.
Yeah.
In fact, I got a beer right now, so let's get this thing started.
As do.
Well, I don't right now.
Oh, well, okay.
You guys are slowing me down.
All right. Well, tell our listeners a little bit about this movie, Sin-Jin Smyth.
Well, Sin-Jin Smyth is about it's about two federal marshals who, over Halloween weekend, have a midnight prisoner transfer of a man who turns out to be the devil.
Wow.
It's one of the marshals is a war criminal back from a possible suspected war criminal back from tour of duty in Iraq, and the other marshal is kind of a trigger-happy bipolar lunatic, and they man an isolated field outpost in the Kansas Badlands. And one Halloween, they get an emergency message to jump the border, and that starts our story.
Huh.
Well,
You thought radio was tough. Go pick up the devil.
Yeah, you know.
Well, some nights I think we do. It just depends.
Yeah, that's true.
We got some crazy things that happen in this studio some nights after we're done talking to exorcists and things like that. It gets wild.
Apparently, we have fans all over.
Oh yes. Now you've got a book coming out about this too, right?
Yeah, let's hear about that.
Are you talking to me about the book?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I've got, well, what we've got is, there is a lit deal in progress, but prior to the movie's release, there's going to be a Sin-Jin Smyth collector's book, which is an illustrated short story that'll have some special features, almost like a DVD with like some exclusive pics and interviews and some behind-the-scenes elements that'll be available through Apex Publications and Apex Digest.
Yeah, let me give them that email or that web address.
Scott, lay the email on them.
It's www.apexdigest.com/sjs.shtml.
Excellent. In fact, you'll find information on that at sinjinsmyth.com as well.
Okay.
Which is sin-jinsmyth.com, and it'll post the same information, but it should actually kick a lot of. There's some surprises in it we haven't announced yet, but it's a solid piece of literature.
Okay, that's cool. Now you wrote this movie yourself, right?
Yes, I did.
And you
look out.
Watch out, everybody.
Now we told in the intro, and we talked earlier today. I want you to tell everybody how you got your start in the business, and talk about some of the stuff that you've written, that you've with the co-producer of Blade and some of that stuff.
Well, there's nothing too special about me. When we were talking earlier, I explained that I was, I took the only job in the only industry that would take me, basically. Having failed at so much in life, I thought, well, entertainment's got to be where it's at, right? They take anybody.
That's right.
So
we're living proof of that.
I'm proof of it. So I got a job at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, thanks to a friend who initially he offered me this cush union gig where it was in the transportation department, and I thought I was going to have something bad to do, like drive a forklift or coordinate trucks or, something real, awesome. But instead what I got the golf cart and assigned to the mailroom. And transportation oversaw the courier service.
Oh, wow.
So I take this job, and it was a thrill a minute, man. I take this job as a studio messenger, and at some point, going through the motions about a year in, just having enough of the system and all the and the horse the politics. I scratched together my own script, and being dyslexic, I took it to a story editor who had become a friend of mine. I delivered mail to her, and I asked her to just proof it out. And she looked at it, and the next day, she said, "I've got an agent you should talk to."
Huh.
Wow.
And I thought I was going to Paris. I thought my troubles were over. I was ready to quit the courier department that day. But it didn't really work out that way. But it did turn out to be a good opportunity, obviously. I mean, it's where I'm at today because of it. My handicap of being dyslexic, which is no big deal in terms of the real world and what people really live with, but that really helped me take the next step to get that thing proofed out and led to an agent. And, since then I've worked for some pretty interesting people, but we might want to get into that a little later. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, it says basically that you're a script doc for some of those Blade movies and a number of others. What specifically does a script doctor do?
You know what happens with a script doctor generally is I had written several scripts, but hadn't sold any of them until just this year, actually. Or no, what would be 05 last year. But
Right.
I'm the guy that comes in and fine-tunes, say, like one of my requests for a company called Idiom Films, they were putting together this project called The Nice Guys Club with Owen Wilson, and one of the requests was the script just wasn't funny. Could you make the thing funnier? I'd written a 70s cop satire that was pretty humorous, so they had read that and they called me in based on that and said, "Can you make this thing funny?" So I mean, my job was just to kind of re-zap the dialogue and I don't know, put in a bunch. And a lot of times I get scripts that I don't really think need that much work, and I think I'm part of the problem. But you never say that. It's like my job is, what do you want to see happen here? How do you want this changed? Let me get about it as efficiently as possible, so you guys can go ahead and move on with production. And sometimes I'm on a movie for a day, a weekend, 2 weeks, 6 months.
Okay.
Rewriting things based on somebody's requirements, and sometimes it's good changes, sometimes it just makes things more convoluted, but whatever they are looking for, whatever the studio needs, however they want to engineer it to hit a demographic, I usually step in and make it funnier.
Okay. Understandable.
Is any of your audience still with us after that tirade?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'll get the stats in a little bit here. Our PD will update them here.
Well,
Ask him about the night thing that you were asking me about earlier.
I was going to kind of wait until okay.
Yeah, go for it.
We're just going to jump around like a bunch of jumping beans or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
man,
know.
I'm here to do some damage, so
Okay.
Well,
lay
then,
it on me.
I read somewhere that when you directed this movie, Sin-Jin Smyth,
Yes,
that it was
the devil did materialize. He
right.
had this funky contract for me to sign. He said, in order for this movie to be a success, you need to sign this thing.
Okay, well, let me ask you, did it look like Abe Vigoda, or did it look like, Barry Manilow? Because I'm always curious about that myself.
Well, actually, there was so much fire and smoke and couldn't get a good look at him.
Okay, well,
and I said, hey, all I could do in a moment like that is what anyone would do. I said, hey, hold up, Beasley Bub. I don't sign anything until my agent takes a look at it, and that's going to take until the next business day, so you're just going to have to wait. And then he muttered some at me and disappeared.
Okay. All entertainment agents as well as attorneys are all minions of Satan anyway.
We all know
you
that.
realize
Yeah, I
that.
think they all know each other.
Yeah, it's the same hell club. But anyway,
And maybe that's what pissed Satan off that night. I don't know.
possibly is like.
But maybe the movie won't be so successful now that we didn't sign that freaky document. I
I
don't
don't know. But anyway, it was all directed at night. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess one of my questions is, were there any kind of, what are the difficulties, like technical difficulties of filming an entire film entirely at night?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, Trent. There are substantial technical difficulties. Now, see, me being a new director and well aware of my limitations, there's a lot I can learn, both as a director and as a person. But working at night, you're going to have, first of all, you're going to have technical aspects. You're going to be moving much slower. Because of what it takes to set the scene, light the scene, and ramp up. It's also, you're going to have everything from climate issues to morale issues because people start going a little nuts at night versus working at day at 9 to 5. And to make matters worse, this was kind of a full-throttle action piece set against a tornado warning. So we had like tornado and hurricane-like elements blowing here on a set at night in the middle of October. We're going back to actually shoot some more action elements, but it was full throttle. live action elements, explosions and things like that, wind, rain sometimes, and it's all at night. I mean, the thing about night is, I personally don't mind it, because when you're making a movie, hey, there's a lot of worse things I could be doing, and I've done most of them. So I don't really have a complaint, but a lot of the prima donnas will tell you, that it's, I don't know, they'll give you the usual they give you on any other graveyard shift, I guess. It's cold, it's quiet, this sucks. And I'm like, you're making a movie. What do you want? You want to defend downtown Basra against insurgents instead?
So is Eileen a good sport about it?
She was great. Everyone was real cool. I think we actually had a great set. There was some real good chemistry there. In part because so many of us knew each other going in, and that made all the difference. So it was a good time. It's the actors, for the most part, are always going to be okay. It's the crew that actually has to do the real work, and we had a great crew on this movie. Those guys, they're going to bring some issues to you, but it's okay. I mean, everyone's. I can't really remember getting a serious complaint, but we did move slow. I mean, I couldn't capture everything I wanted to capture because I had an aggressive shooting schedule. I mean, I wanted to dominate it and get a lot of great stuff, and you just can't do it, man. I mean, if you're going to blow up the front of a farmhouse at night, it's safe to say that's going to take up most of your night.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, and if we were doing a series where there was like 4 to 6 concussion rounds, blasts that hit the front of this house, and I thought, hey man, we're in and out of here by lunch. Lunch meaning around midnight.
Right.
And we were there all night. I mean, we were moving slow. Lights didn't work. And you had also, you could run into technical problems that you may not be able to fix right away. Camera issues, which we had. And other things. You can't shuttle out a camera and get it back repaired at night like you can during the day.
Right. What are you guys shooting on?
We were shooting on film.
Okay.
I don't think the digital movement's come a long way and it looks okay, but personally I like film for myself.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering, because you hear about people shooting on the like Lucas did with the last Star Wars stuff,
Don't bring that movie.
Yeah, Scott, you're already.
You got another example you can use? One I'm happy to talk about.
Yeah. Let me give those numbers out real quick. Give us a call here. Speak live with us and Ethan Dettenmaier. That number's 800-960-2289.
Or
800-960-2289. Or the local line 336-996-1596. You can also check that out on worldoftheunexplained.com. Jump into chat room with us here. You can go to omnisoundradio1.net and grab the chat room.
Yep.
Register. It takes like 2 seconds, and you can be in there talking with us.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, the other follow-up question to that, Ethan, was and it's we ask this a lot. Would anything weird happen? I mean, unexplained that was not. Paranormal stuff.
The time Satan showed up and wanted me to sign those documents wasn't weird enough.
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough.
No, you know what? It was actually, it's funny because Eileen, your guest a couple weeks back, she gets asked this all the time because of her work in The Exorcist. It seems like if there's a devil presence on a movie,
we want to know about it.
Yeah, we
people
do.
think the thing is going to be labored with, craziness, bizarre accidents, and things like that. And thank God, because of our independent insurance policy, that none of that really happened.
Okay.
Because who knows what court or where we'd be at this point if it did. But we were okay with that. There was nothing too much. But there's some elements that Sin-Jin Smyth applies in terms of religion, mythology, and the devil that's a little different than other movies. And I'm not claiming that we're cutting edge and we're reinventing cinema, although we tried to. But we really tried to break new ground and do something new. So I don't know exactly how pissed off, the Church of Satan or, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, whatever group is going to be when the movie comes out. But nothing really strange happened to my knowledge. Now, somebody else might, you might hear a different story from somebody else. And when a publicist is involved, we all might be telling weird stories.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know, but from my standpoint as a director, it was pretty low key. I don't really remember too much craziness.
Okay.
Now this is going to be released in October.
Well, that's the target.
Okay. Now, can we talk about who's gonna be distributing this, or is that something you want to keep under wraps?
That's not settled yet.
Okay.
We're in the process of ironing out the agreement. There's going to be a press tour where I take the movie directly to the fans, that's who I want to meet. That's the biggest stunt I want to do, is actually go out from city to city and actually screen it for the fans in advance of the movie actually being released wide. But there is, so I don't really want to get into too much in the distribution discussion because that's not signed and sealed yet. The target is October. That's what we're striving for. But until we get the distribution deal that's best for the audience and the fan base, there's not too much I can say because that's really what we're holding out for.
All right. What about this TV series that I hear you're working on?
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a fine family show out in Las Vegas called Minx, MINXX, which is actually, and I'm not one for reality TV show, but this thing's actually pretty hip. I got involved because some friends of mine actually bought the last cabaret license for the city of Las Vegas.
Wow.
The casinos, the city has put a freeze on license for new strip club venues and things of that nature.
No.
Yeah, because
it's Sin City, man.
it's a mob mentality. They want to move it in-house. They don't want you out at the Spearmint Rhino when they can have you at a place at Caesars that they can get a piece of.
Right.
But these guys, my two friends, Rob Sussner and Dwight Chernima, they got the last license the city's going to allow for something like 25 years, right?
Wow.
So at that point, when that deal went down, they called me and said, hey, what are you doing? And I said, I'm working. And they said, well, we need you to document this strip club thing. And I'm like, oh, hey, I can be there in 20 minutes. So they got the whole process going, the building's going up. And it's funny because it really paralleled the independent film of Sin-Jin Smyth. They put together the business prospectus and pitched it to anyone and everyone that would listen, just like we did at the same time. Obviously, we were doing a film. But, they ran around, they raised the investment money, they went through the same hurdles, they dealt with the city on issues, they got the place, they own the property, they got the building going up. I'll let you know when the opening is. I'm sure you're going to want to know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we're going to want to have you there.
Oh, yeah.
World of the Unexplained to cover it.
Hey, we'll broadcast live. It'll be great.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Do that. See, I'm glad we worked this all out. I'm glad we're talking. And so what we did was, in between, if we were, until we got in, like, full throttle pre-production, I would go out there and shoot some of the craziness associated with it and follow it. And I'll tell you, man, they're two very, very stand-up guys, and they're the last people you would place to be in this business, personality-wise. But what's going to make that show work is because those two guys are just great characters, man, to follow. It's not like your typical nonsense where people get lost in a parking lot because they're f***ing idiots. It's like these guys are like real sharp, and they deal with, everyone around them, a lot of people they're working with aren't so bright. Some of them are great, some of them aren't so bright, but it's going to be a fun show. I mean, it's comedy. I mean, it's 24-hour. I laugh the whole time every time I shoot. I mean, I'm in stitches.
So you get to see these strippers every day you're shooting the show.
Yeah.
Well, not every day. Quite a bit of the time, yeah. I would say most days.
So everyone wants to be your friend now.
Yeah.
We asked the tough questions here.
Everyone's gonna. I'm not sure how to politically answer that to where I can talk to my wife after she hears it. But no, to be honest with you, it's a show like any others. Yeah, there's some bizarre characters and there's some pretty interesting people, but we're doing so much wholesome family entertainment out of my production company these days. Movies about the devil, reality shows about strip clubs. What can I tell you guys?
Yeah. Well,
Snapkick Productions.
This is where your fans need to call in and get point blank about this.
Yeah, they should.
But no, we do quite a bit of work out there, and yes, I will say that it's an interesting cast of characters.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
I could be documenting a lot of worse things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could be doing something like for the medical channel, where
the military channel. There you go.
Yeah, the military. Yeah, exactly, man. I could be dodging tracer fire in Iraq. So I guess you gotta love America and what America stands for, right, bros?
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Now that's right. Snapkick Productions. That's the name of your production company. Is that correct? Yeah. We're
based at the Warner Hollywood lot here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
That's an interesting name. Where'd you come up with a name for that? Snapkick Productions.
I hate that name.
Okay.
Funny thing, my wife is my partner, and she's actually the mechanic she's got several projects on the ramp getting ready to take off, but she's actually the producing mechanic behind Sin-Jin Smyth, who's made a lot of things happen. And what happened was we had a friend who we both liked who passed away, sudden illness, some kind of pancreatic issue.
Oh.
And he was a good guy, and for some reason he he kept saying that was going to be the name of his production company. So in memory of him, my wife took that and kind of stuck it with us. And I never really challenged it because I like the guy too, you know.
Right.
That's cool.
But you know, it's funny because everyone hears that and they think they're going to get karate'd when they walk in the door.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to kick them, you know, and drop them, or that it's like a fight dojo or something like that. But it's a production company that deals with strippers and Satan.
Okay, well,
I hear you're good friends with Steven Seagal, and later you're going to give us an impersonation.
Yeah, not right now.
Oh, yeah.
We're saving
I've
that
got-
gem for later.
We want to
say
save
I'm
that.
good friends. I wouldn't say I'm good friends. I worked with them. I
Okay.
talked to them, but I don't think I'm in the Steven Seagal inner circle. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We got about 8 minutes before break, and then we're going to bring on a surprise actor from the
It's a
Sin-Jin Smyth movie, a very,
surprise.
very, very famous actor actually.
I thought you told me the special guest was Lucifer.
No,
And I can hang up at the break and take some time off.
Anyway, we're going to give the numbers out, but then I want you to talk a little bit about who all's in this film. The numbers here are 800-960-2289, or locally at 336-996-1596. Give us a call or jump in the chat and ask a question there.
You know you want to.
All right, go for it.
What?
Tell us about your wonderful cast here. Who all's in this movie?
I think I'm almost out of Lowenbrow around here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this could turn into a problem. I'm glad I got a set break.
As you said.
The cast for Sin-Jin Smyth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about the cast for Minx, but the cast for Sin-Jin Smyth, that's actually a pretty special platoon of people. I mean, there were some real bulletproof players in the mix there. Roddy Piper,
Rowdy.
WWE, and They Live. I think it was the WWF when he had his heyday, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
wrestler.
I was a kid then. I remember that. That was good stuff.
I'm sorry, he was one of my favorite wrestlers back in the day. Actually,
Oh
still
man, he
is,
was
you know.
great. He's great. You know what? You'd be impressed with him as a person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about him that really gets people is he is an exceptional human being. I mean, not only has he survived just about everything you can imagine, but he's just a stand-up, humane person.
very-
He's not. He's very calm, very giving, real relaxed, not uptight, not angry, not wanting to fight everybody. I mean, he's just a good person. And he plays Marshall Trent Polly, and his sidekick in the movie is Richard Tyson, who, in addition to Black Hawk Down and Something About Mary and some of these movies, he was the bad guy in Kindergarten Cop opposite Schwarzenegger.
Uh-huh.
And the bully in 3 O'Clock High, which is what everyone seems to shout at him when we're walking down the street.
Really?
Two Moon Junction. He played Genghis Khan. He's got quite a deep resume. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the Visitation.
Yeah. That's a great movie, actually.
Yeah. Pharaoh's Army. He's he's involved in it. And then there's some pretty other creative guys in there. Jacqueline Moore, the WWE. John Philbin from Tombstone, Point Break, North Shore, Zombie Farm. I think that's his latest movie that people are talking about.
So,
I'm sorry, you had a
I was
question?
I was going to say, so I know we had talked about it, but let everybody know, how did you get all this? This is your first movie. How did you get all these great people to
That's
be in it?
Quite a cast.
I wish I could say it was because I'm such an epic person, but in reality it was the script, and I had another project, that 70s Cop piece I spoke about earlier, that was circulating a couple years back, the one that got me out of the messenger service and out of the mailroom. That was circulating, and that looked like it was going to go into production right away because there were some real good names. That script went out to some people, and some real good names got on board and said they were down to do it. And I turned to a lot of these people then and said, hey, this is the movie we'd want to do. In 1978, it's a movie actually about renegade GIs in Vietnam trafficking opium in the bodies and body bags of dead GIs back to the States.
Wow.
And a special police force assembled to stop it, of kind of like Vice and SWAT and different, arms of the law enforcement that are assembled to open up a new precinct, like a fire base, and kind of, take back the streets from this opium iron triangle smuggling type ring, right? And I went to a lot of these guys then because I needed the kind of a motley crew. I went to Piper, Tyson, Philbin, and all these guys. Kevin Gage, who was in G.I. Jane, May. He was also Wayne Grow in the movie Heat opposite De Niro, and Blow with Johnny Depp and whatnot. And I went to all those guys then and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this film, and they were all down for it. And then what happened was the budget for that film, with the effects, the cast, the top-flight players that got involved, started to escalate to the point where it wasn't sure that the movie was going to be made anytime soon, because I was reluctant to part with the property and give up my chance to direct it. So it seemed like we were causing a rift there. But in the meantime, I had sold some horror scripts, and Sin-Jin Smyth, there was an option to get Sin-Jin Smyth financed, and I just turned to everyone on the Night Fever bandwagon and said, hey, we're not going to do that movie yet, but would you be interested in doing this film? And the Sin-Jin Smyth went out, everyone read it, got back and said, yeah, this actually looks like a good movie. It's an original concept. It's not a sequel. It's not a remake. There's not a bunch of crap. We know you. And we know all these other guys. So it was kind of like making a movie. Literally, it was like making a movie with your friends.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was a good experience, man. Because, like I said, I'm new at this, and I kind of need a break now and again, not being up to speed with the information that these other guys and the knowledge these guys have. So it was nice to talk to somebody who's not going to hold your questions or your conversation. I mean, I was real quick to say, I don't know, and I'm sorry on the set, and try and get an answer and be in a position to apologize for not having the information for him. But, I mean, we would talk the story out and character out and the tone of the piece out just like anyone else would. I mean, I don't have the technical knowledge a lot of directors have yet, but when we did Sin-Jin Smyth and we laid it all out, it was going to be like, I never said, this is a horror movie. You're in a horror movie, be scared. I said, this is like a film noir, this prison transfer. You're Joseph Cotten and you're Bogart, and this is like a real mission that goes terribly wrong. So play it real, Right. And that's kind of how I would communicate in those terms. And if they ask me something I don't know, I'd say, well, I don't know. Let's ask one of the assistant directors.
Oh, yeah.
That works. You didn't go to film school.
No, I didn't. And it shows, doesn't it?
How do you get along with other directors in the Hollywood industry right now?
I seem to get along with them okay. I mean, it's tough to tell in this town what they're really saying about you, but I mean, I'm pretty interested in what a lot of these other guys are doing. It's not really, our business isn't as competitive as I think a lot of people make it, because personally, now being a part of the industry and doing a horror film, I need other horror movies to do well to make my life easier.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really in there rooting for a lot of these guys, and I may not be 100% infatuated or enthralled with what they're making, but on an independent level, having gone through the process myself, what a lot of people don't understand when they rant and rave on a message board is what goes in politically, financially, and creatively to make an independent movie essentially out of your backyard. My backyard happens to be Hollywood. It's a little easier for me, but it's still just as tough in some ways. So I'm really proud that a lot of these guys are making these movies and pulling off these movies. I mean, even when they're complete, it's a retread of something you saw in the theater a month earlier or 2 months earlier. I'm still proud of the fact that a lot of these guys went out and made the effort and invented and tried and didn't take no for an answer, that they pulled the trigger on it and made some movies. And I like a lot of these established guys. I mean, I want these guys to do well, and I'm interested in seeing what they're working on. I'm hoping that some kid out of, like, his garage in, the middle of Nebraska is going to reinvent the way we look at horror. I'm hoping that this kid who's doing it because he loves it, not because there's some Hollywood paycheck in it, is going to give us something entirely new to look at. I'm really excited about it. I mean, I like to see what these other guys are doing.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably saying, this guy, man. People in this movie coming out of the mailroom. But the truth is I don't care what those guys say. Oh, yeah. I mean, I like what they're doing, and I like most of them.
Okay, well, we're going to have to take a break. Here's what we're going to do.
I have a story involving all that, but anyway.
Hang on.
Okay.
We're going to have to take a break. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring back one of the actors from the Sin-Jin Smyth film, and then we're going to come back with Ethan on after the second break. So we're going to speak with this actor, whose name I'm not going to mention yet because it's a surprise, but a very well-known actor in Sin-Jin Smyth, and we're going to bring him on with us live in just a few moments. You're listening to World of the Unexplained on the OmniSound Radio 1 network.
We'll be back in a minute.
Right after this.
There are some things in this world that go way beyond human understanding. Things that cannot be explained. Things that most people don't want to know about.
But we're going to talk about them anyway. World of the Unexplained with Jay Scott and Trent Blackie. Heard Mondays live from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern on the OmniSound Radio 1 network. Right here, baby. www.omnisoundradio1.net.
Back, guys.
We are back. How's it going?
I'm fine.
Okay. And we've got our surprise special guest with us tonight, Richard Tyson. Richard, are you there with us?
I'm here, yes.
Great. Can you hear everything okay?
Yes, great. Where are you?
We're in North Carolina.
Specifically Kernersville, which is a very small town.
It's a real small place.
Yeah.
Where we talk about big things.
It's in the Triad. It's in the Triad area.
It's near Greensboro.
My sister went to Asheville.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I was in Asheville last week, actually.
Huh.
Yeah, WWNC and WPEK.
Oh,
yeah.
You were. That's right.
Nice
She
little
walked
stations.
in the backyard and she walked up, she said, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's very true of Asheville. But welcome to our show.
Yeah, welcome.
We
So tell us, man. You know, you've been in all these great films. You know, the latest one I've actually seen you in. I just watched it a couple weeks ago. It's called The Visitation, based on Frank Peretti's book. How was that?
All right. I hear the book was great. I don't read that much, but...
Well, the book was great. The film was great, too, though.
No, I'm kidding. I read every now and then. It was great, man. You know, I always say one of the movies I did was Kindergarten Cop with the governor. And the phrase was, it's not a tumor.
yeah.
In The Visitation, it was actually a tumor in my head.
Yeah. And you played that role really well, too. I mean, that was some scary stuff watching you stumble around there, and especially at the scene where you're in the basement with your wife and your kid, and you've got the gun out and you're firing it, and it's something that they can't see. It's a great movie for those of you that haven't seen it. Check it out. It's in the video stores now. It's called The Visitation.
Well, thanks, man. I tell you, the prep right before those shots, though. I mean, I went through lifetimes getting ready for these shots. I mean, he's crying and sniveling and, oh, God, sweating. And, they didn't spray all that on, a little bit of it.
Huh.
But interesting, in that movie, it's the first time ever a character that I played was scared. An old lady scares him and he jumps out of the window. That's the last she's seen me.
Dude, after seeing her that way, I would have jumped out the window, too.
And she actually played Blanche to my Stanley Kowalski theater.
So tell us about Sin-Jin Smyth. How's it going so far?
It's great, man. And Roddy Piper, oh, my
I know, Roddy
God.
Piper. I'm sorry.
Oh, man, it's great. He's cool. My brother called me, and he's about a few years older than me, and I'm one of 5 brothers, right? And we watched wrestling when we were kids, right? But my brother Will still believes it's real. We all graduate a little bit. No, it's a show. I talked to Roddy, and it's a show.
Yeah.
But my brother still believes. And so on his birthday, we were on the set with Roddy, and I said, Will, I called Will, and I said, happy birthday. I said, oh, by the way, do you know that wrestler, he goes, Roddy Piper? Yeah. I said, well, hold on one second. I said, Roddy, would you mind talking to my brother? His birthday. He goes, I would be honored to. I mean, this guy is so humbled, and they talked for 25 minutes. It was great.
That's awesome. Where are you in the studio now? In another studio?
Yeah, I'm in Matt Allen's studio here, where we do the radio show on Saturdays.
Great.
Okay.
Well, let's plug it for free while we're at it.
Yeah, why not?
Well, let him do it. He's better at it. Matt Allen. Come on, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Who the hell doesn't know Magic Matt, for God's sake? One of the most famous radio entertainers on the planet. I hear them using expletives over there, so this has got to be like cable radio network or some kind of web channel.
That's right.
Up a little.
Do I win? What do I win?
Well, nothing right now, but go ahead.
No, not yet.
I love the fact that you two are broadcasting probably from a bedroom there in, was it one of the Carolinas? I get so confused if it's that side of the Mississippi.
Oh, God. We're in Kernersville, North Carolina, and
It's near Greensboro and Winston.
Yeah.
It's in the Triad.
So it's right close to Greensboro.
Right.
Right, and this is not terrestrial radio, correct?
Well, we're picked up by about 100 to 200 affiliate stations that pick us up.
Yeah.
So they must be right on that button then, because I.
Oh yes, oh yes. The dump button is ready tonight.
Yeah, it's certainly tonight.
So this show, is this about paranormal and paramutual funds?
Yeah, it's paranormal.
It's paranormal talk radio. Yeah.
Well, the great Richard Tyson, you couldn't be talking to a better guy. And plug your ears.
Paranormal?
Yeah, It's
Yeah,
true.
thanks.
He is. He's very frightening, but
And now he's plugging his ears.
but you're actually talking to us from our studio in the hills of Encino, California.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
An 1876 Virginia City, Nevada-style bar right here in the hills of Encino.
Oh, cool.
Come, if you ever get to L.A., come see us.
Oh,
That'd be
definitely
great.
will. Yeah.
That'd be great.
I haven't been to LA in a few years, actually.
Well, I'm sure. They kicked him out and they won't have him back.
That's probably the case. I don't know.
It's hard to get kicked out of L.A.
Hey, do you two believe in, I mean, it's not do you believe in UFOs, because obviously there are unidentified flying objects, but do you believe that there are actual creatures that have visited us?
Personally?
Well, I'm talking
You have a personal visit.
I don't know. I'll leave that up to the guests.
Yeah, basically.
Well, you got to have an opinion, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, do you think the creatures out there that we don't know about that visit?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm pretty firmly convinced that there are.
Yeah, Cheryl and Fenn.
I have a business manager. He goes, "Okay, you spent $17,000 on crop circles. What the hell are you doing?"
All right. We're taking this under the reins again.
Wow.
Let's get back to the film. Did you?
Circles? Come on, you know about that. It's
Oh yeah.
normal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Did you
making that? They're not all hoaxes.
Did you
certainly
actually did you experience anything paranormal on the set of Sin-Jin Smyth?
Or actually any movie for that matter.
Yeah, or any movie you've been in lately.
Anything weird happen to you while filming?
Well, actually, doing a play, Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh yeah.
The summer after my sister passed, she was there with me. I felt that. Yeah. Is that paranormal?
Oh, that's
Oh
fine.
yeah.
That'll do
That's
just
very
fine.
paranormal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's here today. You want to talk to her?
Hey, that would actually be a.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, shut up, Richard. If I was Phil Henry, maybe.
Yeah.
So, how did you? Where did you meet Ethan at? How long have you guys known each other?
Ethan, I've known about 5 years. Bumped into him at the studio at Warner Brothers, and fast friends. It looked like he works out, and well, I pay someone to work out for me.
Hear that?
But he's a great guy, you know, and we've been working on several different projects, and this Sin-Jin Smyth finally came together. Roddy Piper at the last second came in. Actually, a close friend of mine was going to be in the movie right up to the end, and I don't know, he had a prior engagement or something. We ended up filming it out here in California, and he wasn't able to be here. But Roddy was a great fill-in, true champion, man. He stepped in and, I don't know, made the show. There's such chemistry with that guy. I love that guy.
How about working with Eileen Dietz? What do you think about her?
Excuse me?
Eileen Dietz. How do you like working with her?
She played the secretary there?
The nurse, the secretary.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she's from The Exorcist originally.
Yeah, that was a good movie. Right. You know, it's hard when I meet people on the set. You know, I kind of learn the character's name, and then
Yeah, I don't know what I don't have it in front of me right now.
right.
Bad planning. Let me give us the numbers out real quick. If you want to call in here and talk with us and Richard Tyson, the number is 800-960-2289. That number again is 800-960-2289, or you can call us locally 336-996-1596. Call in. Don't be shy. He won't bite.
Hey, come
I
on,
don't think so.
You haven't seen my latest. Big Bad Wolf. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
That's kind of paranormal, too. The Visitation started this trend, and I've done all these crazy movies since I just finished a zombie movie.
Okay.
But this fan came up and says, "Hey, that's great. Oh, what are you doing?" It's a zombie movie. He says, "Well, just paying the bills." I'm like, wait a minute. I wanted to be in a zombie movie once in my life.
Yeah.
That's cool. How was working on the Visitation there? Did you meet up with Frank Peretti? Was he there when you were filming it, or what was going on?
You know, it's so isolated when you're working your scenes, and then you don't maybe even see other people that are in the movie, and they're working different times. It's hard to say. Who are you guys working with in the back?
Trent, quit beating the animal.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's not time for that, right?
You need to feed him more often.
I guess so.
We keep him locked in the closet.
Yeah, yeah. Part of our rituals, you know.
We're not going to talk about that.
Jonathan Davies, played the devil.
Yeah. Okay.
That's really
And
crazy.
we had to shoot the ending first because he was touring Europe. He's the lead singer of Korn.
Oh yeah. We're familiar with Jonathan Davis.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
I hear he's doing the introduction for the Sin-Jin Smyth book.
He is. No, I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just talking to Ethan about it earlier today. He said he may be doing the introduction for the book.
Well, out of the group, he's the one that speaks in complete sentences, so yeah, maybe you should do it. Yeah, speaking of that, I hope your callers, they're really lighting up the lines, huh?
They are.
Our listeners are really shy. I really think it is.
They're in chat, too. If y'all guys got a question in chat, you can go ahead and ask it.
Go ahead and ask.
We're on about a 2-minute delay here, so hopefully after
They're notoriously shy, I guess, because they're afraid of like the feds listening in, but or whatever. Who knows? So then you like working with the horror films? I mean, is that a favorite genre of yours, or does it really even matter?
Does it matter? The next one always matters.
Okay.
And you want to do everything. And it seems just since I did Visitation, I don't know, people keep calling about me or something. I don't know. And I keep doing these movies, and they're a lot of fun. I first started in children's theater, so it's all about the audience, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If they're digging it, come on, let's do it again. In fact, this movie, Plain Dead, that I just finished, it all takes place on an airplane.
Oh, very cool.
And I live. All my fans think I die or I'm in jail by the end of the movie. Well, this one, I live. And I said, man, you got to kill me, at the end somehow. He goes, you don't want to be in the sequel? The sequel to Plain Dead? I said, what's that? He goes, Train Dead.
Oh, okay.
I see a theme, don't you? God.
What about working for Moscow Heat? I'm assuming you filmed that in Russia, and you worked under Nikolai Klimov. How was that?
That was unbelievable, man.
Oh, yeah?
I was in the Soviet Union back in '92. I did a miniseries. I was there for about 8 months. And it had changed so much by the time I came back. I mean, before it was gray buildings and poverty, and the sky was gray. Everything's dark.
Right.
But when I came back, there were people skating around the street. There were colors all over the billboards, and I saw couples walking down the street, arm in arm, shaking their head, to music. They all had earphones. It was like life had come to Moscow, and
right.
indeed, it's a great thing to see. A lot of fun to play.
I bet so. I don't know. I just happened to pick that one up.
And I tell you what, man, Two Moon Junction just came out. I don't know. It's been playing there. It's the biggest movie over there. I tell you,
Really?
I'm huge behind the Iron Curtain. That's what they say. I'm the only guy sorry it ever came down.
I hear you.
There's actually, there's another really cool movie that I saw that I believe came over there. It's called Night Patrol, and actually they're playing it over in Greensboro. But
Night Patrol?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if it's an indie film or what, but I mean, we get it at a local cinema here, and it seems like a pretty sweet film. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, it's over there at the Carousel. Not like our listeners have any idea what the Carousel is, but
okay.
it's over there. And
Please don't talk about movies. I'm not in. Okay.
Sorry, I just happened to bring that up.
That's right. I've been on Night Patrol before, but
haven't we all?
I think we recorded it.
So how's the nightlife out there?
Nightlife. Oh well, it's good for single people.
Cool.
Excellent.
I guess we have a couple of clubs here in L.A. You got to stop by. One's called 14 Below in Santa Monica on 14th and Santa Monica Boulevard. We've owned that for about 10, 15 years. I was one of the initial investors, and then we just moved in on the Mint. That's on Pico.
Okay.
Up near Hollywood, all the Warner Brothers people. If you ever come in town, man, you got to come see us.
Oh yeah, it sounds like a blast. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm never there.
Oh.
Okay, well then.
I'm coaching softball.
Okay.
So.
Oh my God.
We got a caller. Hang tight,
Okay.
man. Here we go.
Yep.
Yay!
Hello, caller. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, this is Paul. I'm calling from Greensboro.
All right, local
Paul.
guy.
Hey, how's Mom doing, Paul?
What's that?
How's Mom doing?
You know.
No, we got my brother to call in, Paul. Thanks, man.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. How you doing?
Wow.
Hey, what's? I've been wondering. Maybe I just wasn't listening at the right time, but what's the movie about?
Oh my God.
The devil runs
Only
strip
on
club
World
or
of the
something?
Unexplained.
That's great.
Only on this show. What's?
No, that's perfect. No one's ever brought it up.
And then in the name of the movie. I know it doesn't have a distributor, but beyond that, I know nothing about it.
It's called Sin-Jin Smyth.
Sin-Jin Smyth. Okay, I thought that was just like.
I thought that was a volleyball player in the Olympics. You know, with Karch Karai, they won the gold medal.
Oh.
But the writer said that's Gaelic for the devil.
Really?
And indeed, it's a Halloween movie. It should come out in October sometime.
Okay.
Me and Roddy Piper play. You know, everyone's always going the Felix and Oscar kind of odd couple thing. Peas in a pod, man. Me and Roddy Piper are both Charles Bronson in the front seat, and we pick up a prisoner because we've been using force instead of the proper procedure. So we're punished. We're sent to pick up this prisoner.
Okay.
And the prisoner turns out to be someone you can't imagine, you know. But Sin-Jin Smyth means devil in Gaelic, so.
Oh, okay.
That's a hint.
So that answers one of my questions I was going to
I have a question from the chat room, but
Okay.
you got anything else, Paul?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
All right,
Paul,
thanks for calling,
thanks.
Paul. I'm going to open the line back up again.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to open the line up.
That's it. It's a line, baby. That's all we got.
One line.
Hey, I like it, man. I like it. Keep going.
All right.
All right. Here's a question in the chat room. It's why don't you ask him about 3 o'clock high? Ask him what movie he enjoyed working on the most.
Okay.
That's from Eric in D.C.
That's a double feature kind of
Well,
question.
3 O'Clock High was my first movie. I guess I enjoyed that the most. Although the last movie, you know, it's like the next movie is the most fun. But 3 O'Clock High, I was living in my truck in L.A., and I got this movie only because I was offered another movie. So you're out there struggling on the streets, and you finally get a movie. The same day you get another movie. I said, I'm going home. I came out here to get a movie. I got 2. I'm flying back. My dad flew me back to Alabama, to Mobile, and almost lost both of them. You know? The agent fell out with one, and thank God 3 O'Clock High was the one I did because Buddy Revell has been part of my life for a long time now.
Oh, cool. That's cool. So,
3 O'Clock High, did you see it?
I haven't seen it, no. Hey, I saw The Visitation.
Saw The Visitation? Well, you should go back and see 3 O'Clock High. It's funny, man. People ask me if I've ever done comedy. This guy, it's comedy, isn't it? I mean, if Clint Eastwood slaps somebody in the face when you're not expecting it, you go, right? That's
where'd that come from?
That's a laugh, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So have you... So how does it feel to have worked in a movie with the governor?
Oh, it's great, man. I tell you, when we were shooting Kindergarten Cop, the last thing he was doing was shooting a movie. He had so much shit going on. It was amazing. He had satellite dishes before anyone else did. He had 4 of them on his trailer, and he was working it back then. But he was a real cool guy, you know. I said, look, Arnold, I have to treat you like my brother because that's how I got 4 brothers, and that's how I treat everybody. I can't treat you like a czar, man. These people are treating you like a czar, man. He goes, I don't ask them to. I'm like, well, he goes, should I tell them not to? I said, no, keep it going. You got a good thing going, you know. So
Tell them what happened in the death scene when you're, you're dying there in Kindergarten Cop in the bathroom scene.
Right.
Doesn't Schwarzenegger say something to you? What the hell happens there?
Yeah, we're talking. I'm supposed to be dead in the urinal, right over in the behind. You know, when my mother. Have you seen Kindergarten Cop?
Oh yes, oh yes.
I gotta ask you that. You know?
Oh yes. Years ago, but I've seen. I do recall the film.
Well, if we talk again, you'll see 3 o'clock guy, won't you?
Oh yeah, of course. I'll see them all.
But you know, when my mother has the gun on him and he's down in the shower, and she's shooting at him, saying, "Where's my grandson?"
Oh yeah.
I'm dead over near the urinal in the back. Crisp is dead over there. Crisp is, and right before that shot, the camera is down in the shower looking Arnold's point of view at the mother, and I'm in the background, right? And so Arnold goes, "Okay, Tyson, go get in the character over there in the toilet. Go get in the toilet, Tyson. Get in the toilet.
Oh,
get in the character, Tyson." I said, "Well, at least I have one." And he goes, oh, for a second, he goes, "Oh," and then he goes, "Ah!" And the director came over, he goes, "All right, Mr. Crisp, you're dead over near the urinal, and Arnold, you're back over there." I said, "See, Arnold, they don't even call you by your character's name, man. Come on." He was great, though. He was great.
Well, I've got one last question for you. Then we're gonna have to wrap up and go to break. We do appreciate you coming on the show, by the way.
Thanks so much,
Thank you so much.
We're going to feed the dogs again at the break.
Yes,
the
we
beast,
are.
I gotta go and
He's got to beat him some more.
Yeah. We do this every show.
Do you think that any of the films that you've been in recently have typecast you in a certain way?
Oh, no, I don't think so. All my life it's been typecasting. No, my brother's a lawyer, my dad's a lawyer, but I haven't played a lawyer yet.
Oh, well, I'll be a lawyer if I pass the bar this time.
Yeah.
We're looking into it.
Good. Hey, do you guys have a website or something we can get to, or what?
Yes, sir. It is worldoftheunexplained.com.
Yep. Find us.
All right.
All right.
I'll call that in my free time.
All right.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Nice talking to you.
All right.
Nice
Thanks,
talking to you
guys.
too.
All right, later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, and that was
Holy
Richard
cow.
Tyson. Yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it?
30 minutes. That's all we had.
Yeah. We're gonna have to. I see Ethan's in the chat room now. If you guys want to jump in there, Ethan Dettenmaier, the director, is in the chat with us. Big capital ETHAN. He's there. He's hanging out, and hopefully he's listening. We're gonna go to a break here,
Yeah,
and
I gotta go beat the beast.
Trent's gonna go beat the beast, and I'm not gonna say anything else about that at all.
That was intentional there, Scott, by the
yeah.
way. You know that.
I do. Well, anyway, we'll be right back after this, guys.
All right, see you in a bit.
You're listening to OmniSound. OmniSound Radio. Presented in OmniSound streaming media. OmniSound.
Man, this thing f***ing smokes.
OmniSound Radio. When it comes to karma, there are 3 types of people. Those that live with it, those that try to avoid it, and those that listen to Full Moon Radio. Sure, listening won't get rid of bad karma, but it will keep you entertained while you're waiting on the bad stuff to happen because of that spitball you hit your teacher with in 3rd grade. Full Moon Radio on the OmniSound Radio 1 network.
Hey,
and
guys.
we're back, guys. And we've got Ethan back on with us. He's in the chat room, too.
I'm back. Yes, I was in the chat room, and then it took me a minute to figure it out, and just when I got rocking on some questions, I am here to talk to you guys.
Okay, well, good. Well, maybe they'll
Out good.
maybe they'll call in and.
Well, I have technical issues anyway, so if anyone on the forum is wondering, it really takes me a while to kind of get the hang of that kind of thing. I hope you're all patient with me. I'll come back after the show and finish where I left off.
Okay, great. You can sign up there at www.omnisoundradio1.net. You can jump in the chat there, or you can jump in from worldoftheunexplained.com /chat. And you can call us live and speak with Ethan at 800-960-2289. That's 800-960-2289 or 336-996-1596.
Yeah, call me up and we'll kick some celebrity chump into the dirt. How was Richard doing?
Oh, good.
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was
Good guy.
Yes.
Definitely.
Very Very neat. I think that was our first.
That was It was really good
for us.
I was, especially it's which is so funny is, the fact that I'd just seen The Visitation a couple weeks ago. And
how is he in that?
He's really good. He plays this like psychotic. Well, not really psychotic at first. He plays a cop, and basically.
Yeah. A sheriff, right? Isn't it? Or
yeah, and he gets possessed by this demon, and it's pretty wild, man. You'd have to see it.
It's funny. I would see him regularly while he was shooting that movie. I never got to set or anything like that, but I would see him for dinner on and off, and he would tell me about different things he would do where he had to kind of split personality himself. Like freak out, like there's some wiring short in his mind, and real impressive stuff. Personally, I didn't think it was acting, but. It's he would walk me through kind of the steps of that day or that week's worth of shooting, and it seemed like it was going to be an interesting movie worth checking out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, we're big into Satan movies, right? And Satan's in that movie too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is actually. It's a strange movie. You'd have the book's a lot better than the film.
Nice.
But it's a good movie. Oh yes, we just broke another record here.
What are you talking about?
Over 17,000. 17,220 logged in. Take that for your Arbitron and shove it where never mind.
What are you talking about? What does that mean?
That means we have 17,220 computers logged in listening to this feed right now.
That means exactly.
I'm sorry.
I'm at my worst, man.
17,227 now. Just jump 7.
Yeah.
Now I got to watch what I say.
No, you don't.
No,
this is
talking
internet.
about the devil and strippers, and now I got to.
No, you got to talk.
That's
about
why we've got the ratings, man.
You just got to talk about
Right.
liquor and firearms, and then
liquor, beer, and wine. Reverend Horton Heat.
Yeah,
Perfect
you know
song.
what? Actually, I'm stoked. We were able to take a break because I was able to run down to Ringside Liquors on the corner. I had just enough time to sprint down there and sprint back so I could power through the rest of this interview. You know, it's tough being a director, man. It's tough.
Oh yeah, it's
I told
work.
you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, man. Come to the set sometime. Come back to the set. We'll visit.
Yeah, we'd love it. We'd love to get out there. Well, let's jump back in here, and let's see. I had a question. Go ahead, jump into your question.
Yeah,
I'm looking for mine.
I did, and I think actually Richard answered the question, but I mean it leads into something else. Basically, I was asking where did you get the title Sin-Jin Smyth, and then Richard said that it was Gaelic for the devil, and then also you mentioned something in the chat room about this certain legend that you based the movie on. Could you tell us about that?
I don't know that it's Gaelic for the devil. I've never told him that. It was, we found. Sin-Jin actually is not an uncommon name in the UK.
Okay.
And I found an Old English text that I was going through where it referred to, like the wicked presence of Satan, and they used the term that was kind of like similar to our title. It wasn't exactly Sin-Jin, but it was close, and I thought, for some reason it stuck, and now we're with it.
Oh, yeah.
Basically. But it's a good title. And we all know the volleyball player now, actually, which is funny. I don't know if Richard's met him yet, but we all know him. Nice guy. Great guy. And the funny thing is, I told him, somebody told me, said, hey, you got a volleyball player named Sin-Jin Smyth, and he was, he was on the Olympic team. And what's worse is he lives in the Palisades, which isn't too far from you. And I thought, the guy's practically my neighbor, so I better introduce myself to him before his attorney calls me, right? So I call him up. I find out, he did that movie a few years back, Side Out, the volleyball, C. Thomas Howell thing. And so I call him up. I call SAG, and I said, hey, I need contact information on one, Christopher St. James Smith is his real name, but he goes by Sin-Jin. And they give it to me, and I call them up, and, I leave message. They give me the number for AVP, the Association of Volleyball Professionals, and I leave a number there. And 3 days later, man, the guy calls me up like he's known me his whole life. Ethan, Sin-Jin, it's me, And I'm like, hey, how are you? Now, here's a tricky, for young independent producers, this was a tricky moment because I wasn't sure what he was like, I'd imagine the guy was pretty hip, being a beach volleyball professional. And probably pretty laid back and not prone to get uptight. And I just said, I'd like to introduce myself to you. Why don't you come down to my office and, I know you're in the Palisades, come down and meet me at Warner Hollywood. And that way he could see. Because when sometimes people hear you're based at Warner Brothers, they affiliate dollar signs to it. And we're an independent outfit. We pay rent there. And I want him to see the office, Come down to Skid Row, man, and see what you're dealing with so you don't try and, get upset. Because people, it's a sue-happy society, and you never know how people are going to get. Most people don't have any grounds whatsoever to sue, but they sue.
Hey, now.
So I thought, okay, this guy's a high-powered celebrity. Apparently, doing my research on him, this guy's well-known. He's associated. We should at least arrange an introduction, because however it's going to go, lawsuit or otherwise, I'm going to shake this guy's hand, and he can deal directly with me on it, because that's how we handle it. We don't have to hide behind a legal screen or get ugly. You call me and tell me what your situation is, just like I'm going to cold call and introduce myself to you and tell you what's going down.
Right.
And he came out, and so he showed up, and he was laid back, nice guy, fun to talk to, smiling, good guy to be around, and I said, let's go get a cup of coffee. And then finally the time comes where he's like, so, he's telling stories about volleyball and whatever, and so he goes, so, why am I here? And this is where you got to tell the guy that not only are you doing a movie that's got a title similar to his name, but it's also a euphemism for the devil.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just sitting there thinking, how's this going to go over?
We're using your name and you're the devil. Yeah.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, this is what I'm doing, and he laughed.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, they've done it once before. They did it in a James Bond movie, he pointed out. And the funny thing about that is I saw on some boards where that was like a big discussion, too, and I have no idea what Bond's alias was in Dr. No or Goldfinger. These movies go back so long, and I didn't know that either. So now it's like you got some people that are like, no, this is a James Bond. And you got other people saying, no, this is a volleyball player. And then you got some scholars saying, no, it's Satan in the UK. Whatever the just buy a ticket. Let's just get to the next issue, The movie's not about the name, thank God. But anyways,
it's
we met him,
confusing,
it was
though.
good. Now, you were asking about, there was a, before I got on my tirade, there was a part 2.
Yes. The part 2 was basically, you mentioned this in the chat room, that about a legend about Stoll Cemetery.
Oh, well, the movie,
Yeah.
the film Sin-Jin Smyth is set against a Kansas legend about the devil.
Well, let's hear about that.
There's not too much to it. It's cemetery folklore, and almost every local cemetery has got a story at one point or another. In my old neighborhood where I grew up, there was actually a cemetery, an unmarked cemetery of dead Chinese railroad workers from like the Wild West days. And the story there was, like every, Chinese New Year, you'd stay away from the cemetery at night or at midnight because that was just bad news for whatever reason you cared to believe. And so the movie itself, the Sin-Jin Smyth isn't about the legend. It's set against the legend. But the movie itself is about the prisoner transfer over Halloween of the devil. And sort of this Kansas folklore kind of comes up as kind of like an interesting possible, backstory. Who played Sin-Jin Smyth is played by Jonathan Davis, the front man of Korn.
Yep.
And at one point, when they're going in for the transfer, Roddy Piper and Tyson are going in to pick him up. You don't see him through the whole movie. He's in the shadows. They're met by, they jump the state line to go to the small town to pick this guy up, and they're met by the local sheriff, played by Charles Cyphers, who was in Halloween and Escape from New York. And
awesome.
The original precinct on 13, and actually the jail we used where he was standing for the scene was the jail that Carpenter used in the original Assault on Precinct 13, Lincoln Heights downtown in Los Angeles. So here we are on the set of the original Assault on Precinct 13 with the guy, and we're doing a movie about the devil. But anyway, we're with the guy, and there's a point where he kind of references different kind of satanic folklore, and there's a few other things mixed in. But it's all pretty interesting stuff. There are so many fascinating things with different cemeteries, especially down in New Orleans, it sees like. They have the best stories.
Oh, yeah.
It seems that way.
If you scratch beneath the surface, every local... one of the things I did, that was kind of became a thing when we were in pre-production was, cemetery story swapping or ghost story swap. That kind of became like shooting the movie in October, last year. It was kind of like a big thing to kind of, tell those kind of stories, man. And I heard some good ones. The crew came up, a lot of the crew that was from out of town, or even one from Atlanta. Just great ghost stories about the local cemetery or the devil. The devil's really a busy guy in terms of showing up at cemeteries. Because, the devil's probably the most popular cemetery character that we heard anyway. But everyone's got these great stories. There's a lot of material for your show.
Yeah, that's true.
What got you into just the idea of making a horror film?
Yeah.
Is it something because you're a horror fan, or is it just something that just happened to work?
I'm I'm not confined to it. I mean, I'm a horror fan. I like horror movies. It's not the only thing I watch. I mean, I have influences that go back to like John Ford and Kurosawa and Wells and those guys. You know, I didn't see a lot of horror movies growing up as a kid. I kind of embraced certain ones later in life, like Carpenter's The Thing or The Exorcist.
That's a fantastic movie, by the way.
Yeah, great movie, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And you know, different movies. You know, the work of James Whale.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I got into it. I like it, and I like it a lot. It's not the only thing I like to do. In fact, of all the projects I've been offered, I mean, I refuse 2 studio romantic comedies because clearly I'm not the guy for the material, right?
Okay.
I'm so fucking romantic, you know. But there's the 2 movies. There's another movie we're doing that's got like kind of a film noir with a backdrop in grave robbing. But there's 2 other films we're doing that aren't horror related, and one of them's a western about Confederate raiders that refused to surrender at the end of the Civil War. You know, so I'm into other things. I mean, I love horror, but I love movies, man, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't just stop and start with horror. I mean, it's a little bit more broad than that. I mean, I love samurai flicks. I mean, The Searchers, you name it. Once Upon a Time in the West.
Huh.
Oh, that was one of my favorite westerns, actually.
Yeah, we can talk great movies outside of horror for hours.
Yeah,
let me give those numbers real quick. It's 800-960-2289, 800-960-2289, or 336-996-1596. You can get those on the front of our webpage, worldoftheunexplained.com.
Or jump in the chat room and ask a question there if you don't like the sound of your own voice.
Exactly. Now, obviously, we like the sound of our own voices.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring up also the Sin-Jin Smyth Collector's Edition book is only $8.99.
Yeah, $8.99.
That's amazing.
That's like nothing, you know?
Well, you know what? It's funny because initially the publishers thought we were going to charge somewhere in the neighborhood of like $49.99 for it because it was going to preempt the movie, and they thought that a lot of fans were going to buy it. It was going to be a limited edition collector's book, but really this thing's about the fans, and why extort money from them or rip them off if they're going to support what you're doing? So $8.99 is really what it takes to cover the book's cost, and if people dig it, that's what it's about. I mean, I'm not in the printed book business or collector's item limited edition book to rip you off or rip people off. I mean, that's up for George Lucas to do. Go buy the Star Wars. Go buy the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not.
And then go buy the 16 different releases that they do of it with the extra 30 minutes that you didn't get the first time.
That won't make the movie any better.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a thing for the fans that for the fans that are interested.
Right.
For them, it's.
Let me give that link. Let me give that link. Let me give the link on that book.
Get that link, man. And while you're at it, give me the numbers to all your affiliates who dropped you because of my language so I can apologize.
No, sorry. It's www.apexdigest.com / sjs.shtml. And no, we're not drinking on the air again. We stopped doing that a long time ago.
Yeah, we save that for later. But anyway.
Oh, Lord.
So Ethan, how did you get Jonathan Davis on the boat? You know, and did you have him in mind when you were thinking about casting the devil?
You know, what I wanted was I wanted a rock icon with serious presence, and I don't know how that was linked to the devil in my pre-production notes or not. But you know, there's a lot of great actors that were interested, but I didn't really want an actor for that. I mean, I wanted a guy who can act. But I didn't so much want. I kind of wanted like an iconic guy who can walk in and control the room, or control a stage, or control a stadium. You know.
Yeah, something with charisma. You know.
Yeah, and he was on the list actually. Davis was on the list, and it turned out we got a lucky break, man, because working with him was the best thing. I mean, you know, he is arguably one of the more influential rock musicians working today, and you would not know that sitting with him or having lunch with him, the way he blends into a room or talks to people when he's off stage, because he's a fun guy. I mean, he would work well on this show. He's just like you and me, you know. He's got his interests and his business, and what it was he was on the list of people we wanted to go after. We contacted his representation, who also handles the band Korn, the firm, and we said, this is the deal. We're doing a movie. It was originally an action script Ethan wrote called Two Guys from Hell, about a federal prison transfer in a police state type environment. And it's going through a rewrite where the main character being transferred is the devil, and we want Jonathan Davis to do it. And we thought we were going to get laughed out of the room, right? But, I mean, they came right down, and he's like, he's in! I mean, he didn't even see the script, and he was like, devil, I'm in! I'll tell you a funny story, by the way, though.
Okay.
At one point when, everyone was doing their wardrobe fittings at Warner Brothers, another guy in our platoon here of characters on Sin-Jin Smyth is Billy Duffy, the guitar player of the Cult.
Right.
Who's doing some like a Nino Morricone type spaghetti western guitar riffs for the music. He's also our music supervisor, meaning he's helping us assemble the soundtrack, but he's also in it to do a cameo, right? And he's there getting fitted for his costume. Everyone's working their way in and out of the ranks, right? And the firm calls my producing partner Loda and says, bad news, EMI wants to pull him from the movie and send him to Europe for a press junket. He's out. 2 days before we start photography, right? 2 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And there had been some other things that EMI was trying to shift and pull on us, and finally I just had it, man, right? Because I've got such a high tolerance for I don't know why I lost it at this particular moment, but for some reason I'm like, you know what, the hell with this, and I finally turned to Duffy and I said, who do you know that can play... Who? I mean, he's a rock icon, right, Duffy? I was like, who do you know, man, like, that can play the devil? And Duffy, like, thinks for a minute, and he goes, I got a guy. And he gets on his cell phone, right? And he goes, hey, yeah, this is Billy, Duffy, yeah. Hey, I'm over at Warner Brothers doing a movie about the devil, and I'm with the director, and we thought maybe you'd be down to do a movie. And so he just hands me the phone. He goes, okay, he wants to talk to you. And I take the phone, and it's Ozzy.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I've been the devil for 30 years. And I'm like, all right, Ozzy, right? He's like, but you got to call Sharon. Sharon runs the show, right? Sharon runs the show. So at that point, I hang up the phone, right, and I start dialing the number he gave me for Sharon and Billy, and some of the other guys were there, the makeup effects guys. He's like, well, who are you calling now? And he's like, I got to run it by Sharon. And they were like, oh, no, she's like the Yoko Ono of business. You'll never get a deal done for Ozzy in 2 days. You start shooting this thing in 2 days, right? So I'm like, so Billy finally comes up with another solution. He's like, I got another guy. And he just jumps in his truck and drives off, doesn't tell me anything. And he goes, he's driving out of the parking lot. He's like, get your phone ready, And I'm standing there watching everyone else, Kevin Gage, Roddy Piper get fitted for their outfits at Warner Brothers. And I'm like, who is going to be Sin-Jin Smyth now? We don't know. We start in 2 days. We thought we had our guy, a great guy, Jonathan Davis, and now we're all scratching our heads, right? Who's going to be this guy? Duffy calls me 30 minutes later and says, okay, I'm at Sushi Den. Get over here. And I'm like, Billy, it's going to be a few minutes. We're wrapping up the fittings. Like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go across the street to the Fox and the Hounds pub, and we'll be there all night. Just make it when you can. They're British rockers, right?
Yeah, right, of course.
So I get in there with my partner. We zip over to Fox and the Hounds, and I walk in there, and it's Jerry Cantrell, the guitar player for Alice in Chains.
Oh, my gosh.
And he walks in off the bat. He's like, Billy told me everything. You need a guy, a lot of presence, not a lot of dialogue, I'm your guy. And I'm like, hello. And I'm like, I pull out my cell phone. I'm like, well, right on. Problem settled, right? And meanwhile, I should backstep. On my way over to the pub, I'm calling everyone, right? I'm calling Makeup and Monsters, who had to cast Jonathan Davis's face for the makeup prosthetic appliances and things. And I'm calling them and say, Davis may be out of the movie. EMI is pulling him. Get your ass over to Fox and the Hounds pub right now and take a look at whoever this guy is and see if what you cast will fit him or can be customized to fit him. So I'm zipping over there with my partner. I got the makeup technicians zipping over there. Everyone's zipping over to Fox and the Hounds, and we all get there, and Cantrell greets me like, I'm your guy. He's like, I was the number 2 guy for My Name is Earl. But they wanted to go with an actor, so I didn't get the part. But I'm your guy. And so I get on my cell phone, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I call my partner, and just as I hit call, she cuts in and goes, done deal. We changed the schedule. Instead of shooting Monday through Friday, we're going to shoot Wednesday through Sunday. Davis can take 2 days, do his European press junket. He'll be back in time to shoot. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at Jerry Cantrell, right? Duffy's sitting there, and he's had me on the phone. I mean, literally, it was like the day we had to replace Jonathan, the lead singer of Korn, first with Ozzy, then the lead guitar player of Alice in Chains, by the lead guitar player of the Cult.
and you're
like 45 minutes, right? And I'm like, if this movie gets any crazier, man. It's 2 days, right? And like, Davis is down, he wants to do it, but it turned out to be a good thing. Nothing against Cantrell. Cantrell was awesome to me and a real sound guy. But, Davis was the guy from the beginning who had been working with it. And, even Duffy said at one point, he goes, it's not Davis, it's his people. They want to, push him here, market him there, do this, that, and the other. So it all worked out, man. But that was that gives you some kind of insight into the organization behind Sin-Jin Smyth. 2 days before the movie, who's the guy going to be? I don't know. Ethan's going to some pub to meet some dude.
Complete chaos, mayhem.
Really, supposedly your British rock icon Duffy is picking your cast. Yes, he is.
That's amazing. I mean, really.
So, the
funniest thing is Ozzy just saying he's been the devil for 30 years.
and yes, he has been.
And he has been, Mr. Ants with a popsicle stick.
It's a funny thing, though, because I remember sitting there with a friend of mine on the set, and, Davis is executing his dialogue, and it was tough, man, on the Gates of Hell set, and he's doing all this thing, and during one break, I'm sitting with a friend, and he goes, I'm looking at this, and you would have really been rolling the dice with Ozzy. We're both Ozzy fans, and he's like, he even told me, he's like, I'm an Ozzy fan too, but Ozzy doing this, and he made his point in a way that wasn't degrading or disrespectful. He's like, you would have been rolling the dice here, asking Ozzy to do this kind of, Sorry about my. You just lost another few affiliates.
Yeah. Well,
We're fine.
I'm working on it.
Now, I want to hear before we get a break. We got 3 minutes here, and I want to know. I want to hear your Steven Seagal impersonation.
Let's hear the Steven Seagal impersonation.
Okay, here's a funny thing.
All right.
Now, Steven Seagal's, to my experience, despite something of a negative rep, he's always been a stand-up good guy. But it was funny. I met him to discuss a military piece I had written about CIA advisors in the Middle East. And I went to his place to meet him. An associate that ran a bank finance arm said, why don't you meet Steven Seagal? If he does the movie, we'll finance it. So we all went up to his castle. And we met him, and he was nice, and he was civil, and he sat down. He didn't say much off the bat. And where I lucked in with him is I happened to mention I was a Kurosawa fan, and that's where he lit up. And from there on out, I was right for the rest of the conversation. It didn't matter what I said, but because I like Kurosawa and he liked Kurosawa, I was right. So when other guys tried to talk and I contradicted him, Steven Seagal would be like, no, he's right. But the funny thing about it is he looks at me and goes, I like this script, but I'm afraid I can't do this movie because I've done some work overseas, and my associates, they may not appreciate me doing a movie of this caliber. And I'm like, okay, well, can I change something? Or, I want to make the movie, so how do we do this? What I really want to do is horror. So get back to me with a few horror ideas, and if you write like I can write, I should see something from you tomorrow sometime.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, all right. So I bolt out of there, right? And I scratch down 10 or 12 ideas, call them the next day. And the 12th idea, which I thought was the most ridiculous, was I go, okay, and I got a movie where, very, very formula-type horror stuff, where diplomatic flight goes down in the Himalaya Mountains, Navy SEALs go in, crazy Empire Strikes Back type snow monster, abominable snowman, rips everyone apart. I'm thinking it's a joke.
Yeah, that's awful.
I'm not kidding, but I'm kidding. Like, this is kind of like just to make the list. This is to round out the list and make it sound better, right? And he goes, I like that idea.
Oh, no.
And he goes, and then he hits me with this, right? He goes, and those creatures, they do exist. And the reason nobody sees them is because they have the ability to transcend dimensions.
Oh, my God.
And I'm thinking, he's testing me.
Right?
He wants to know if I'm a yes man or if I'm going to stand up and say, that's bull. So I'm getting ready to stand up and say that's and I realize, well, wait a minute, I do need the paycheck, right? So I thread the needle on it, and I go, Steven, if that's what you want to happen, it's my job to make that work on the page. Ultimate script doctor criteria. Just be ready for everything, whether it's or not, right? So I go ahead and I lay that on him, and the funny thing is he goes, I want you to write a few notes and come up to see me on the set. He's shooting a movie at that time up at the Civil Brand Penitentiary, so I go up there to see him, right? This is a good way to end the show. So I go up there to Civil Brand, right, and he's like, his assistants are going, he's on the set. He says, go into his trailer, hang out. He'll be with you on his lunch break. So I'm like, all right. So I go in there, and I'm looking for something to drink, He doesn't have any beer. He's a Buddhist.
Yeah,
or
of course.
So I'm kind of bummed. The food's all healthy. And anyway, I'm hanging out, and all of a sudden he walks in, right, and he's got like a white medical jacket on and like a little ID badge with his picture on it. It says like Dr. Phelps or something. And I saw that, and I was like, doctor? They got you playing a doctor? movie? And he looks at me and he goes, criminal psychologist, okay? But the thing about that is, though, just that people think when I tell that story that I'm making fun of Steven, and I would not do that because, one, he was a good guy to me. But what that story points out is there I am kind of, they got you playing a doctor, and he rolled with it. Like, he was cool with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hence, he's a better person than I think the rep. People like to kind of jump up and down on him lately, but he's a better person than I think people give him credit for. I never had one bad experience with him.
Right.
I mean, creatively, it was awkward at times, but overall, he was a cool guy. He always took my calls, real nice, and not everyone in town takes my calls. Surprised, I'm sure you are about that, right? But, it was kind of cool at that moment, because that's when, he's like an icon to a lot of people in the martial arts community.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes in, and I'm like, they got you, out of shock, I'm like, you're playing a doctor? And he's like, criminal psychologist. I mean, I just thought that was kind of a cool moment where he was like, a lot of people would be like, hey, shut the up, I'm a doctor. You're fired. Get this guy out of here. That's Hollywood right there. But he was kind of cool enough to be like, criminal psychologist. Okay, all right. Maybe you don't get my point, but just the same, I'm trying to make out that he's a cool guy.
That's great.
Even if Yetis do exist and they can transcend dimensions,
that's
he's still
basically
a cool guy.
That's what we found out tonight.
I'm going to put you on hold, Ethan. We're going to come right back with you to wrap up in another maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or not in another 20 minutes, for another 20 minutes of talk.
Additional 20 minutes of showtime?
Exactly.
That's right.
So if you'll
dude, I'm ready.
If you'll hang tight with us, we'll be right back here on World of the Unexplained. Here we go.
See y'all in a minute.
This will not look good on a resume!
You're listening to Omni Sound. Omni Sound Radio. Presented in Omni Sound streaming media.
We came, we saw. We kicked some serious ass.
Omni Sound.
Right here, baby.
Omni Sound Radio.
We're back, guys.
And we're back with Ethan Dettenmaier. Ethan, you there?
Hey, I'm sorry, man. I was rocking out to this new band, Black Book Romance. Ever hear of them?
Yeah, actually.
Kick, man, it reminds me like the old Skid Row days. Yeah!
There.
Thank you for supporting the scene. What's up, dude? Do I have to do the interview, or can I just keep rocking?
No, that's all right, man. You just go.
The singer, though, man. He sounds vaguely familiar.
I don't know. I've never met him myself, Ethan, so.
And neither have I. So anyway, yeah, okay. We see in the chat room that you ran out of breath, apparently.
I know, that's the comment somebody makes. Like, not, hey, that's a funny story about Korn, but whatever they want to talk about, right?
Breathe, Ethan, breathe.
It is their privilege. I need to breathe, man. I get so animated, I'm a loose cannon in here.
Oh, yeah,
Lori Moon knows what she's talking about.
That's all good.
Let's give her props. Thank you for looking out for my health, Laura.
I don't even know where to go after that.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you where we should go. Let me just take over the show for a minute.
Go for it, man.
That's cool.
Number one, we established that despite all the comedy, Steven Seagal is an okay person despite his rep.
Right.
I want to clear that up. But also, I wanted to point out, in the midst of my Jonathan Davis, let's replace the lead singer of Korn with Ozzy, then the guitar player of Alice in Chains story, that bit. That what I was just telling you off the air, what a cool guy Duffy was to basically say on the spot, well, let me call my friends, essentially, which is something that has endeared me to that guy. I mean, I was a fan of the band all through the 80s and the 90s, but to hear a guy like who's there, like, you're in a jam, let me make a phone call, that's pretty cool, And he's calling high-profile people, So, anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that was awesome. All right.
Fantastic.
All right, we can move on to other things.
Let me give those numbers real quick here. 800-960-2289. Come on, guys, call in. We know you're listening.
Call.
800-960-2289 or 336-996-1596.
You don't have to call in if you don't want to. We can get into it on the chat room, I promise. I'll be ready to shake it up. I'm coming for that chat room.
He's coming back to the chat.
Chop it up.
That's right. He's coming back.
Actually, the people in there seem pretty cool.
Yeah, they generally hang around.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But, yeah.
They're concerned for my health. That's also good.
Right, of course.
They're not concerned for ours sometimes.
No, they really just don't care about us, really. But
hey, no, they care about you. Come on, Trent, let's get with the program here, man.
I just had a moment. Okay.
Finally, we get a guest that knows the difference between us.
Yeah,
that's true.
But most of the times they're just throwing it out there. He'll say something. They'll be like, "Well, Jay."
Clearly,
No, I got it. Man. I got it.
Clearly, it's just one radio DJ, and he has a split personality.
That's right.
That's what it is.
Let's talk more about this TV series Minx. That's what I want to talk about.
Scott, back to the Minx.
All right, 18,292. Those are great numbers right there.
Hey, man, I don't know how much of Minx you want to discuss. I mean, we're already losing affiliates left and right because of my language. If I get into details with Minx, there is a website for Minx, from what I understand, though.
Okay.
Oh, well, what is that website?
I hate to shell myself out, but I think the best way to find it is to actually go to the Sin-Jin Smyth MySpace page, which is Sin-Jin Smyth 666.
Okay. Wow.
They're like a priority. They're like if you go through there, you'll find it. I'm not sure exactly what the website is. MINXX in Vegas. Put it into a search engine, folks.
Yeah.
Google it.
If you really want to, if you're really interested.
All right.
Get it all googly.
Well, let's talk more about the movie. We've got about 10 minutes left before we're going to have to get off with you here, but we've actually been talking with Ethan, and there may actually be something in the crack house a little later on for them to win.
There will be.
From the movie.
So the speculation right now.
All right, that's cool.
You got to get me on the record with.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good because the questions are hard as hell, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they are. They can be. But
well, hey.
Anyway,
yeah, we have talked Sin-Jin Smyth. We've talked a little bit about the actors, the characters, Jonathan Davis. The couple of crazy days, the circus leading into production. It's great when a new director has to deal with that kind of thing. See, that's how you solve your problems, right? When goes south on you fast, just turn to your closest buddy and say, "Who do you know?"
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, problem solved, right?
Of course. I mean, and it amazes me. It's a movie involving wrestlers and rock musicians about the devil. I mean, come on.
Well, it's so appropriate in so many ways.
It is.
And let me tell you, we've only hit the tip of the iceberg with different cast and character actors that show up in this movie. I mean, we were really blessed. There's a real sound battalion of people that got involved, and we're able. It's a nice thing when people say, "You know what, I'm going to do your movie, Ethan." I mean, that's big talk.
Yeah.
Because who am I? I'm nobody, right? So somebody says, "No, I'm going to do it." Or in a friend of mine's case, John Philbin, who plays Cable 6, from Tombstone. He's Cable 6 in Sin-Jin Smyth, but he was in Tombstone and Point Break. When I asked him, initially he was on his way to Mexico, and he dropped what he was doing and said, "I don't need to see a script. I'll come down. I'm in."
Wow.
I had a SWAT outfit for him. I had a 6-chambered grenade launcher. I said, "There's your gear." And he's like, "Yes, I knew it was going to be good." And we just locked and load, man. I mean, it was really, really nice because obviously there's no repertoire of work from me that's going to impress anyone at this stage. So it was nice that people counted on me as a person and, knew that I was going to be. It's my business to make the movie work the best way possible and make everyone look good.
Well,
it was nice that people trusted me with that.
What's next for you after Sin-Jin Smyth?
That's still my question for you.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Was that me cutting out?
No, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different options. Horror film. Like I said, there's a film noir / horror film with a backdrop in grave robbing. That's pretty interesting, actually. We don't want to say too much about it, but at this stage. But if that goes, that could be something good. There's the CIA piece about CIA advisors in the Middle East that may go. And then there's this Western about Confederate raiders that don't want to surrender at the end of the Civil War. Like I said, I passed on some romantic comedy work.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
And then there's a lot of pressure to do Sin-Jin Smyth too, but I only want to get into that if the fans actually want it.
Yeah.
And right now it's kind of tough to tell who's really asking for that, because we haven't delivered the first movie yet, and I'd kind of like to see. I mean, I'm working around the clock doing the best job I possibly can, but until the fans really want a sequel, because I'm not into sequels myself, and I would only do it if the fans wanted it.
Now, do you have a trailer up for that movie?
We have a trailer online.
We've got a caller.
Trailer. What's that?
We got a caller. Hang tight.
Yeah.
Caller, you're on the air. Where you calling from? What's your name?
I'm calling from Kansas.
Oh, okay. I know who this is.
Me too.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
I'm fine. How's your health?
You know what? Thank you for asking, actually. You're the only person that cared enough to ask. And you know what? I was able to sit down for a few minutes during the break and relax. I'm glad you were concerned. Do I sound that bad?
No, you don't sound winded.
I'm trying to work out. Hey, I hear you got a show too, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
Full Moon Radio.
Full Moon Radio? And what is it? We were talking a little bit about it at the break. It sounded actually interesting. What about it Can you tell us? Can I check it out? Where would I check it out?
Yeah, it's at fullmoonradio.com. It's,
Hold on, I
it's
gotta
kind of
write
like
this.
what these guys do, but, you know, we have 2 chicks doing it instead of 2 guys.
Fullmoonradio.com?
Yeah.
I'd like to check that out. Where in Kansas are you based?
I'm near Kansas City.
Oh,
But
excellent.
I was wondering.
Wait, Kansas City? Kansas City isn't even in Kansas, is it?
There's a Kansas City, Kansas also.
But the Kansas City the Chiefs play in is in Missouri, right?
That's right.
Now, what was that, to like throw off the Indians in the old days or something?
Might have been.
I didn't realize. I thought my whole life up until last football season that Kansas City was in Kansas. And then somebody told me, you're a geographical idiot for not knowing your country, as well as you should. Kansas City is in Missouri, but there's another Kansas City you live in.
Right. Well, someone actually argued with me one time and told me there was no Kansas City in Kansas, and I said, wait a minute, I live there?
Yeah, well, you would be the one to ask. You obviously know. It's funny, though, because this person that tried to set me straight said the same thing, that there's no Kansas City in Kansas.
Oh, yeah, there is.
And I think it was just an attempt to make me sound dumber than I already do. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm glad you called in, because he is my next phone call when this show is over. And I'm going to say, you know what, dumb? I got a phone call tonight on this radio show from someone in Kansas City. He's going to think I'm making it up. I'm glad this is all getting documented.
It's all it'll take.
Which you can find on our website, by the way.
I'm going to give out your website. Were you telling me to give out your website or not?
No, he said what you can find it on the website, which is worldoftheunexplained.com.
Yeah, it will be found on the website.
Oh, good,
future date.
I want to check out Full Moon Radio.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to check out Full Moon Radio.
Awesome.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Ask away, Laura.
Okay. Now, it sounds like the movie Sin-Jin Smyth has a segment in it that has to do with Stoll Cemetery, which is in Kansas.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you guys recreate the Stoll Cemetery like it is here in Kansas, or you just kind of take liberties and do however you want?
You know what? I'm sorry.
You don't know?
We just did whatever the hell we wanted. I mean, it's like...
Well, I wondered because, it is an actual place, and that myth is a real myth that's here in Kansas.
Right, yeah, I know it's kind of like part of your frontier folklore. What's the college that's close to Stoll?
I'm sorry?
Is there a college close to Stoll that I was told about?
A college.
Okay, never mind that. Forget that one. But
yeah.
I haven't been to Stoll Cemetery. In fact...
I think it's near KU, actually.
KU?
Kansas University, I assume.
Yeah, that's got to be, right?
I would hope.
Our cemetery was actually designed by the production designer Rob Howarth off of the movie Tobe Hooper film Mortuary, and we did something that's, having not seen too much of the Stoll Cemetery, we did something that was kind of, it's almost New Orleans-based in a way that it's kind of centered around a bog. The actual bog that was used for Disney's Haunted Mansion, actually, they left that bog on the production ranch up at Sable, the Sable Production Ranch in Santa Clarita, and we used that just because cinematically, although it has nothing to do with Kansas, but cinematically, we had to take some Hollywood license there because it looked so good. And that's probably going to turn a bunch of people in Kansas off, and I'm going to get a bunch of hate mail. It wasn't done in a way to kind of slam dunk anyone in Kansas. It was just done as a way, because when you're working within the framework of an independent film and the budget is tight, you're limited to California locations, and that's that. And quite frankly, anyone who's ever been to the Midwest will tell you, or the Great Plains, there's no place in California. California's pretty mountainous. It just doesn't cut it, at least in our pre-production discussions. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of Hollywood licensing. But I'm going to save more for that when I'm on the Full Moon radio show, which hopefully will be next week, right, Laura?
As long as you're in good health.
Yeah. I'll get my respirator ready.
All right.
But it wasn't recreated. It wasn't really recreated after specifically out of anything that was. You and I should talk about this actually. How do you get in touch with someone when you're having a live conversation, Trent?
What? Well, I mean, there's always a, private chat, for example. But
no. What would be cool is if I could. I would love to talk more about this Stoll Cemetery, but after the show. Can we do that, Laura?
Okay, that's fine.
Will you stick
I'll
around
talk
for a
to you
little
in
bit?
the chat.
Yeah. Stick around and chat, and we'll all talk in there.
Yeah, that's basically how you
You
do
can
it.
stay on the phone too. I'm not booting you or anything.
No, we are, because we got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, we got
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
All right.
She's more interesting than any of us. Why are you getting rid of her?
Ethan, actually,
We got 2 minutes, right?
I have one more question, actually.
Yeah,
it was from the chat room from Eric again, and basically the question was, what was your favorite Kurosawa film, Ethan?
Sanjuro has always been my favorite.
Okay.
And for those of you who haven't seen it, you need to go out and see that movie.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no bad Kurosawa film.
Nah, I agree with you there, Ethan. I haven't seen a lot of them, but I've seen about 3 of them, and they're always so impressive.
More people have seen Kurosawa than they realize, because it's been remade in America and Italy so many times.
Oh yeah.
A Fistful of Dollars, Magnificent Seven, but I would say Sanjuro. And I'm sorry, Trent, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I really had nothing more to say about it except Kurosawa really kicks.
Yeah, you can go pick up any Kurosawa movie, and I guarantee you're going to dig it, despite the subtitles and the black and white. You're gonna love it, man. I mean, those movies are awesome, and that's why you'll be surprised how familiar a lot of it is. I mean, Hidden Fortress was part of the inspiration for Star Wars. Lucas will tell you that in the documentary Empire of Dreams.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's
well,
amazing.
Ethan, how do you want to wrap this up, man?
Yeah, final words.
Final words.
What am I in charge? I don't run this show. Hey, man, I rapped. I'm not the director now.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well,
Hey, check out www.sinjinsmyth.com, SIN-JINSMYTH.com. For information about the book, you can go to the link of, what is it, one more time, J. Scott?
It is, hang on, I'm looking for it, www.apexdigest.com/sjs.shtml.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's the thing. And I mean, there's a lot of people to thank for making this movie work, and I am least on the list. I mean, there's a lot of great producers, cast members, and crew that you really should be talking to, not only because they're much more interesting, but because they are the guys that mechanically put the movie together, and, we'll have to work some of them into your programming.
That would be
Sounds great. Thanks
Ethan,
so much, Ethan.
It's been a pleasure. It really has.
Hey, no, thank you.
And we'll see you in the chat room, all right, buddy?
All right.
And thanks for the tolerance.
Come on now.
We're all about that.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ethan.
And that was Ethan Dettenmaier.
Wow.
This has been a crazy night, hasn't it?
It has been.
It's been a lot of fun.
Lots of smiles, lots of laughs, lots of...
Lots
of Aussie stories.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Rockers and wrestlers.
You know what time it is right now, right?
I think so.
It's time for the Crack House, the Woe2 $2 Crack House Pyramid. And so with that said, I guess I'm gonna play the intro music, and then we'll wait for a caller. So call us up here if you want to play in the Crack House tonight. It's 800-960-2289. 800-960-2289, or locally at 336-996-1596. We're waiting on you, callers, to play in the Crack House. What's in the Crack House, Trent? You don't know, do you?
Well, I know at least 2 of them.
Okay, what's that?
For example, the archive of their choice.
Yeah.
On fine CD quality. I mean, better than CD quality.
That's about CD quality.
It
looks good.
Shut up, man. It does look good. Some mystery thing that you're talking about that I don't know.
No, that's not in there yet. We're going to work that out. Yeah.
Okay.
The book, the Adam Go Rightly book, The Beast of Adam Go Rightly.
That's the other one, and Sky, you finish it up. I'm sorry. I'm doing several
and the
other things.
keychain, man. The keychain. We always give the keychain away.
Yeah, the keychain. I'm sorry. I'm doing like 6 different things.
So we're waiting on your calls here. 800-960-2289.
You're not
800-960-2289 or 336-996-1596, and I'm going to play the music now. Here goes the music.
Ladies and gentlemen, and those of other persuasions, lock your doors and hide your valuables, because it's time now for another exciting round of the game show everybody's talking about in abandoned alleys everywhere. It's the Woe2 Crack House $2 Pyramid. So give it up for the tycoons of trivia, Jay Scott and Trent Lackey, who every week give away their stuff to some lucky listener.
All right.
All right, have my book back, ladies.
There goes the Crack House theme.
I don't know why I just said that.
And we still don't have a Crack House caller. Well, we are operating on a 2-minute delay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's. The topic for tonight will be for next week's show, which is about EVP.
Yeah, Thomas. What?
Yeah. EVP, like as found on White Noise. I'm not going to get into any more details about that because one of the questions involves that.
Oh,
so,
okay.
You know,
all right.
I need to be quiet about it. You know it or you don't know it.
All right.
And,
okay.
It's from the movie White Noise. It's a pretty common paranormal
great, man!
sort
I haven't
of
seen this movie in ages.
No, the question is about the movie, but I'm just saying EVP is a very common. Yeah, it's the main theme within the.
You've heard the slogan. Over. You've heard the slogan about over 100 channels to watch and nothing's on.
Yeah.
Over 18,000 callers and no one's calling.
That's true.
So call in, guys. You can win. Really, we don't cheat. The
we
journalists,
don't
the newspaper people that were here the other couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they totally confirmed.
They'll
what
confirm
we
to you. We do not cheat.
Tonight, I'm going to be asking the questions. Scott's going to be leaving.
I'll be in the hot seat. We've never worked out what we do if no one calls in. By the way,
that's true. We don't.
Yeah.
Do we ask you anyway?
Shit, I don't know.
I mean, that's a good question.
I guess we could, and I could see how many I get right.
The prizes are really cool. The archive is really
you get
great.
a book, man, if you can guess on this stuff.
Adam Goodrightly, it's a great read. It's a lot of fun, and the keychain also is
It's a keychain. They're like, we don't want your keychains.
Your keychain's dumb. You're dumb. Awkward laughing.
Yeah.
Let's just. All right, look.
Okay, here's the deal. Now, if you've played the Crack House before, you can't play it. Like it's got like a 30-day limit there, to play.
Oh, that's true.
Because we don't want the same people winning the Crack House all
right.
the time.
Yeah, you never mentioned that before, actually.
I know, and now's the best time to mention it because no one's calling.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
1-800-960-2289. 1-800-960-2289.
Or
I'm going to give the 800 number again in case they need a pin. They're running around the house. 1-800-960-2289 or 336-996-1596. That number again is 1-800-960-2289. This is pathetic tonight.
Nah, it's not pathetic. I mean, it's bound to happen at some point,
Yeah.
But I don't know, Scott. I say that we'll give it about another minute. And then if that doesn't happen, then
Eric's in the chat room. He says you get to keep your stuff. No one wants it.
All right, Eric. Listen, pal. Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, it's cool.
Paul's in the chat room. He said I already participated. I can't play again for 30 days.
Has
it been 30 days already since he... I don't know.
Maybe they're scared of the topic.
Maybe they are. EVP.
What is it? I don't know. All right, look. I'm just going to ask the questions, Scott. We got 4 minutes before 10.
Well, if you ask the questions though, and I get them right, then somebody can call in and know all the answers. And
well, no. I mean, if I do that, then the Crack House is closed to the public. So
all right. Well, let's give it another. Let's give it another couple minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I see the little timer up there, a professional timer. Maybe the topic is a little
broadcast
scary.
time.
Yeah, that's right. Which is very similar to military time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow, this has never happened to us before.
No, of course not. But like I said, it's bound to happen. So we're just going to
maybe we
rant
should
and
ditch the Crack House. I don't know.
awkwardly laugh.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, if people don't want to play, we know they're listening, but if they don't want to play,
listen, guys. Actually, there's a poll on our website about this whole Crack House thing, and
I kind of hit it. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of
hit it at the bottom of the Crack House page.
Okay, yeah. You go to that Crack House thing, and then you scroll down, and it explains the rules, and there's a poll there. You guys out there in listener land really ought to vote and say one way or another, because we feed off of your input, just like
just like Crack House addicts feed off of crack.
Yes, that's so eloquently put, Mr. Statesman.
Thanks so
of
much.
The United States.
Thank you very much.
And there's a lot of other polls too. I mean, I've never actually mentioned that, but I mean, you guys ought to get up there and vote a little bit on stuff, and let us know, and we sort of get our
that feedback
topics and get them from you guys, because you
sometimes. I'm kidding.
Anyway,
I've got to edit you too.
I know. Yeah. I might go on a whole minute cursing spree here in a minute. I might.
I'll just ban you.
You can't ban me. You can't ban me. You can't take me out of this house, brother.
Anyway.
I can't leave. All right,
anyway.
I'm gonna ask you the questions now. The Crack House.
is going to be officially closed.
It's
going
to be officially closed.
And wow, that's just really disappointing.
All right, man. All right, well, we're going to ask him anyway because I wrote him down.
We're going to ask him anyway.
That's right. We always ask the questions. All right, Scott, are you ready?
Okay.
It's about EVP.
All right, let's do it.
Let's make a point that the crack house is closed from this point on.
Yeah,
whenever
unless
I
we
ask
get a
the
call in
questions
like
to Scott,
2 seconds. Or something.
And it'd be very ironic and very sad, and we won't answer. But it's cool. It happens. All right, Scott, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
let's do it.
Oh, might help if I
try
do
to do it.
Might help if I do that.
It might.
And that. Okay.
And that.
Come on. What do the initials EVP stand for?
Electronic voice phenomena.
Okay. Why are headphones generally used to record EVP?
So you can hear them better when you're playing them back?
Not really.
Okay, next.
Okay. What kind of tape is best used to record EVP?
Digital tape?
No, actually. Not according to the
Okay, keep going.
What is the difference between a Class A voice and a Class B voice?
I don't know.
Okay.
Next.
How long do EVP messages generally last?
3 seconds.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll give you that one, too. 2 to 4 seconds. So, you got that. Class A voices are heard and understood. So you can hear, yes, it's a voice from beyond. Yes, you can hear what they're saying. Class B voices are actually heard, but it's muffled and it's not clear. Anyway, and what kind of tape is best used to record EVP? Ironically enough, and I'm getting this from the American Association of EVP, which is our
next week's guest, Tom and Lisa Butler.
Right. Any low noise, high sensitive tape is actually the thing to use. It's actually pretty standard and simple.
No, cue the Sanford and Son, and we'll get out of here.
All right.
Guys, we're disappointed in you.
Yeah, we're very saddened.
We're saddened.
Astonished.
We're gonna cry after this.
Cry over a few beers. Man, what a show! Ethan Dettenmaier.
Oh man.
Richard Tyson. Movie
stuff.
Stars, movie stuff.
Rock stars.
Rock stars, wrestlers, the devil. Oh man, this is totally a fantastic show.
This was a good show.
I mean,
this is a great show. I mean, I haven't laughed this much on one of our shows in a long time.
I mean, those guys were total trip, and the fact we had 2 guests and it was jumping around, it was all chaos, and talking about Steven Seagal was great.
We're running over right now, by the way.
Oh yeah. So, maybe we should just cut it short.
Yeah, cut it short. We've already went over our time by a minute. Right. That's okay though. Maybe we won't get punished by our program director.
Hopefully.
All right. So guys, we're out of here until next week with Tom and Lisa Butler. You guys take care. I'm Jay Scott, the only JD DJ on the Omni Sound Radio 1 network.
I'm Trent Lackey. We're coming to you from Kernersville, North Carolina, a small town where we talk about very big things.
All right, till next time. Later.
All right, we'll see you guys.